taking me on your back the whole game too, you punk.
Yeah, but you gon' feel it, Cooley. I'm telling you, you gon' feel it.
I told you keep that camera running. You might miss something.
This is the NFL, which stands for Not For Long.
And welcome to the Season 2 premiere spectacular of the Not For Long Pro Football Show. Host Noah Groniger, Clint Schweitzer, and the story from Week 1 looked like it was the quarterbacks. Sam Bradford, Alex Smith, Jared Goff, three quarterbacks who you don't really see at the top of the charts after a week of passing. They are there. They had impressive performances, Alex Smith maybe most of all, but the question is, was that last game what we're going to see? Is can he be consistent, or what? Were we in the land of Mr. Rogers make-believe, or will that Alex Smith stagecoach turn back into a pumpkin at midnight?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to get more into Jared Goff and the Los Angeles Rams with our biggest winners and losers from Week 1 of the NFL season. But we have some bigger fish to fry because our guest this week, our favorite guest, our good friend,
Mr. Raider
himself, George Atkinson, is going to be joining us to talk about all things AFC West, Chiefs, Raiders, because right now the Chiefs and Raiders look like they could be on a collision course in the AFC West.
Absolutely.
Maybe don't count the Denver Broncos out with a big Week 1 win
over
the Chargers. Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes you got to be a little PC here on the Not For Long Pro Football Show. Now,
I don't know what show you're talking about, but not here.
Not here. Not the show that Sean Salisbury was a part of a year ago.
No.
And we wish Sean Salisbury doing great things. Just a time thing for Sean. We loved having him on last year, and we're going to try to have him on as a guest here and there this year.
Yeah, but from being on our show, it kind of things started rolling and happening for Sean. He got his own show. So
that's kind of how it works here. Yep. Kind of like being the boyfriend before the girl gets married. You're like the bridge.
I helped her gain the confidence to go out and get a real person, a better looking guy.
God knows that's not you and I. But taking from Week 1, Kansas City, of course, the NFL world's been talking about it for over a week now. Chiefs go and get that big Week 1 win at New England, a game that no one thought possible for the Chiefs, but Alex Smith put his big boy pants on, 368 yards, one of the best games of his career, only his 7th 300-yard passing game. The Chiefs, on the heels of Kareem Hunt, one of the most impressive rookie debuts of all time, get it done in New England. Where does that put the Chiefs right now in the NFL power rankings, if it's even too early to do that?
Well, I've been hearing talks about how they're favored for the Super Bowl. They have a 20% chance of being your Super Bowl champions. I don't know about that. I pump the brakes on that. You got to see if Alex Smith can carry this over, be consistent. It sounds like people are saying maybe a fire was lit under him now that Mahomes is the backup quarterback. Andy Reid is finally opening up the playbook, which I have a hard time believing. I think it's just Alex Smith hasn't been choosing the options that were downfield for him, and now he's doing it knowing that, hey, if I still dink and dunk and we're not getting this thing done, my replacement's sitting right behind me, and he's not afraid to go downfield and launch it 70 yards.
Well, it's going to be interesting. The Raiders themselves, the Chiefs' nemesis, who I think is going to be interesting all year, as it was last year.
What an impressive win against the Titans.
Business-like. I call it business-like because last year the Raiders, let's face it, they won with just miracle after miracle after
2-point conversions against the Saints.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what they did. They had to make a big play. Khalil Mack would make it on defense. Derek Carr through the air.
Remember against the Bucs, Seth Roberts, just a little dink pass over the middle. He splits two defenders, goes in overtime for the game-ending touchdown. It was just stuff like that that's just crazy.
And they didn't need it against a team that I think is going to win the AFC South against the Titans. They went in there. Marcus Mariota, an improved team. They went in just business like they were ahead most of the game, and they controlled the game, and they did it. One extra weapon they had this year, of course, beast mode Marshawn Lynch. We're going to ask George Atkinson about how good he makes the Raiders, what a difference he is.
Yeah, and in that Titans game, I noticed the Titans had a little trouble with their passing game, getting it going. They drafted the rookie from Western Michigan, Corey Davis. He did have 6 catches, but he could have had several more. Looks like he did a curl route instead of a comeback, and they were just in the different spot, not on the same page. So look for the Titans to get that fixed and buttoned up for this week against the Jaguars.
Well, it's our pleasure to go ahead and welcome our guest this week. Usually we only have him on for Chiefs-Raiders games, and the last time that we talked to George, it was December. It was freezing cold in Arrowhead Stadium with a big Chiefs win, but throw out the record books right now because both teams are 1-0, and both teams look like they could be on a collision course, George.
Yes, it is. A new season, new faces, but a whole new concept for the Raiders, basically, for beast mode in the lineup now. Things change offensively a little bit for the Raiders, especially having that run game together.
Well, George, I wanted to ask you about that. What did you see last week against Tennessee from Marshawn Lynch, who ran over their defensive tackle, Jarrell Casey, and from your new tight end, Jared Cook?
Yeah, both of those guys show that they're football players. And Marshawn Lynch is just, we know what he can do. He showed it in Seattle. And this guy is definitely a professional at his position. He knows what he's doing. His timing's still good. His vision's still good. And you called it. His power is excellent still. So that year off may have done him some good. And what he brings to and for the offense is a meanness and a tough running game, which the Raiders haven't had for a while.
Well, I want to talk about this victory over the Titans, a team a lot of people think are going to be the best team in the AFC South, probably a playoff team. But the Raiders, this looked different to me. Last year, the Raiders won a lot of games with big plays late in the game. This was a more business-like approach. Derek Carr he threw for 262 yards, I believe. This wasn't flashy, but it was business-like, and that's something that you see a lot out of our team, the Kansas City Chiefs, winning game. But this is different for the Raiders. It looks like a complete team now, and that could be something scary for the rest of the AFC.
The offense is complete. I mean, you look at the skill positions, the wide receiver position, and the quarterback position, running back position. You got veterans, and you got guys who've been in this particular system for at least 2 years. And this team is different. They have stepped up from last year. I think offensively, as you said, they go about things in a business-like manner. You can run the ball now. You can pass it. You don't have to go deep. You can use time off the clock, and you know you're going to get points. And that's what's important in this league. And Kansas City, same thing. I mean, you look at Kansas City, and they have a powerful offense themselves. They beat New England handedly. And you look at how they did it, their team to be reckoned with. And when you look at the AFC West, I think, the conference championship will come out the AFC West.
Wow, George, I want to talk to you a little bit about kind of the past 5 years you've been on the show. You haven't been happy with the back end of that Raiders defense. You've been calling for some changes. What do you see now? You got Sean Smith, TJ Carey, David Amerson, Reggie Nelson, Carl Joseph. Are you finally happy with that Raiders back end? Does it pass the George Atkinson test?
I think the jury is still out with that secondary. We won't know probably for another few games until they truly get tested. What I saw preseason, I was not impressed with, but they stepped up and played exceptionally well the first week. So, maybe there is a change right now with that secondary. But hopefully they can hold up. And like I said, I think the jury is still out. We have to wait and see just how good that they can be. If they live up to the hype that the individual players got coming in. No one draft choice in Joseph and a big trade for Sean Smith. If those guys play steady, I think we'll be okay.
Well, George, you mentioned it, and the Chiefs had an impressive win over the New England Patriots, but that comes at a high cost. We lose Eric Berry. You played the position more than us mere mortals can appreciate. You can. So what does Eric mean to the Kansas City Chiefs, and how much of a loss is this?
Oh man, I thought he was the inspiration to the defense, and he's a guy that it seems like the defense look up to for leadership. So when you lose a guy like Eric Berry on your defense, that replacement better come in and be a strong influence and a strong force, because this guy brought it. He makes plays, as you saw against New England. He made some key plays, and he's just a good, solid football player. And he's a guy that brings inspiration because of what he went through, his courageousness to fight through something that most people didn't. So it'll be a big loss. It'll be hard to replace Eric Berry.
Well, George, talk about the fan sentiment there in Oakland. This is one of the best teams in the AFC, certainly right up there with probably Kansas City, New England. We don't know who else will emerge, but talk about what the fan sentiment is there in Oakland, especially with this pending move, 2020, going to be in Vegas. Are fans still embracing this team, or are there people kind of jumping off? What are your thoughts on that?
I'll put it this way: every game is a sellout. So the move to Vegas that doesn't affect the fans. They're Raider fans, so wherever the Raiders play, they'll be there. So, the fan base is strong, always will be. And as I said, every game here is a sellout, so that speaks volumes right there.
Well, George, can we see at the craps tables when they move? Are you going to make the move to Vegas? Is George going there?
I don't know. Only time will tell that. We'll see.
Well, George, we talked about the Raiders, their high potent offense. We talked about the back end of that defense. I kind of want to get into this front seven of the Raiders defense. I'm looking at these names: Eddie Vanderdoes, Justin Ellis, Corey James, Markel Lee. Shed a little light on this Raiders front seven.
Well, Vanderdoes, he's a rookie, and Raiders drafted him early, and this kid is coming along. He will be eventually the anchor to that defensive line. And, the 7 guys up front, they have to be solid year-round, all of them, the whole crew. And everything depends on what happens up there with them. I mean, if they can put pressure on the quarterback, the back end may not have to play the top. If they can stop the run, the back end won't have to come up and make tackles. So everything's centered around those 7 guys. And actually, the leadership may come from Vanderdoes, who's a rookie.
Yeah, very good thoughts on that. And, George, it's been a while. You were here, of course, in December. I know how much you love the cold here in Kansas City. The question is, what happens? The Raiders have not fared well against the Chiefs. Derek Carr's had his worst games against Kansas City. How do you see things shaking out here in the AFC West with these two teams, man?
If I had the answer to that, I'd bet the house.
You would move to Vegas then.
We'll see, man. It could play out a number of different ways, and but I think both teams are pretty good football teams. They both do the same thing well, or offensively, which is run the ball and throw it. So when you have that combination, you're gonna put points on the board, and you'll be able to control the clock. And your defense has to go 1, 2, 3 and out, and that's what the Chiefs are capable of doing. There's a kid that plays cornerback there. Terrence Mitchell is a kid that I worked with when he was in high school.
Wow,
and he's developing into a pretty good defensive back, and if that back end can hold up, I think it's going to be interesting to see who wins the AFC West.
Well, George, initially when we were going to bring you on, we were going to have you do kind of 30 minutes of analysis, kind of breaking down this Raiders-Jets game. But since the Jets are trying to lose, they're wanting to lose, they're taking the season, they want one of these quarterbacks, Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen. We'll refrain from that, okay?
Thank you.
This should be an easy win for the Raiders, George. I guess the question...
Yeah, it should be.
It should, but it is the NFL. Now, the question is, are we going to get you back here to Kansas City in December? The game's in December again. Are you coming back for a 3rd straight year? Because we missed dinner last time, man.
When I was there last time, it was so cold. I don't know.
The cold takes its toll on you.
I have to wait and see, man.
Well,
I'll let you know ahead of time for sure. I'm pretty sure we'll get back in touch mid-season, like we've always done.
Absolutely.
And break it down to see, assess the first half of the season.
Well, George, we can't thank you enough. And I just hope everything's going well for you, man. Anything new going on in your world? I know, living out there, everything hopefully going well. We haven't talked to you in a while. Just tell us how things are going.
Yeah, it's getting older, man, daily. It's, everything's going pretty good for me, as you get older, you have a tendency to not remember as well, and plus the signs of being 70 years old is there. So I'm trying to enjoy life and just take it a day at a time.
Absolutely. And George, we wish you all the best. We can't thank you enough for coming on with us today. But just kind of on a quick personal note for Clint and I here, as much as we love having you on as our favorite guest for what's now been 6 years, the friendship we've cultivated is honestly, it's meant the world to us. You're one of the good ones, George, and believe us when we say it, it doesn't go unnoticed, it doesn't go unappreciated. We're truly grateful for these last 6 years of interviews and friendship with you, and we're looking forward to so many more.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. Really, I do. And let's continue it.
Well, this has gotten too friendly, though. For my taste, we got a Raiders-Chiefs rivalry going on here, and no one wants to get all sentimental. I say, bring it up here, silver and black. Let's do it in December, man.
It's going to happen.
Thanks, George.
Just keep waking up in the morning.
Absolutely. George, thank you so much. You are so kind, and we'll talk soon, my man.
Always a pleasure.
Anytime.
Thank you, man.
Hey, man, anytime, no problem.
And a huge thanks to our favorite guest, George Atkinson, Mr. Raider himself. You hear about that team. It looks like they have an impressive defense. Not sure on the secondary yet. He's going to need a few more weeks for them to prove themselves, but definitely an upgrade over the past years where he just railed on them constantly.
And Noah, you got all soft with George. It was a very sentimental moment here on the Not For Long Pro Football Show. He's been a part of us for this is his 6th season joining us. But I said it, and I'll say it now. I said it to George. Bring the silver and black to Arrowhead in December, and we'll see you then, because things are going to be dicey by then, and maybe the kind words won't be pouring out from both parties.
Well, we know the Raiders after this week are going to be 2-0. We talked about it during the interview that they play the Jets, so that's a win for them. The Jets are trying to lose. They're tanking. But the Chiefs, they might not be so lucky. They got a Philadelphia Eagles team that's very impressive, high potent offense. Carson Wentz, Alshon Jeffrey, Torrey Smith, Nelson Aguilar, Zach Ertz, LeGarrette Blount, Darren Sproles. I could keep going. This offense just has so many choices, so many weapons, that it's going to be a tough matchup for this Chiefs defense, especially without Eric Berry.
And not a lot of people talking about the return of Coach Doug Peterson, who was here in Kansas City as an offensive coordinator. He goes to Philadelphia. Year 2 under him. Year 1 started off amazingly. You saw what Carson Wentz could do. You saw a preview of that before things kind of went in the tank for the Eagles in the second half of the season. But coming into Arrowhead, this is a big game for both teams. I do like the Eagles as an upstart in the NFC.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs, this game's about Kansas City doing what they do. We talked about being businesslike. Kansas City doing what they do. If this is a new Alex Smith that's going to be really aggressive and using these weapons, and Hill, you just can't cover them all. The Chiefs are the better team. They're playing at home. I think the Chiefs win. I think it's close, though. The Eagles are a team to watch, man, and I do like what I do agree with what you're saying about having those weapons.
Yeah.
You got to like Alshon Jeffrey, Torrey Smith, someone for Carson Wentz to really build on.
Yeah, I was thinking about picking the Eagles in this game. Just their defense, the Patriots' defense seemed soft, and they were lost a lot that last game. Slow. But this Eagles defense, their front 7, really, those linebackers in the defensive line, Brandon Graham, Vinny Curry, Fletcher Cox is going to make it hard for Kareem Hunt to find holes. But that secondary lost Ronald Darby. They traded for him in the offseason from the Bills. They sent Jordan Matthews over in that trade. But that defense, that secondary with Jalen Mills and Patrick Robinson now coming in for Ronald Darby, I don't really like it. They've got Malcolm Jenkins in the back end, but that secondary is kind of a mess right now. So I like the Chiefs at home to win this game by about 7. So.
Well, moving on, of course, Denver, another AFC West foe, got a big win on Monday Night Football against the Chargers. I don't know what it says. I don't think much of the Chargers, and I don't think much of the Broncos, but they are 1-0, and they play the Dallas Cowboys this weekend. With the defensive performance that the Cowboys turned in against the Giants on Sunday night. Of course, it was Sunday Night Football. When is it not?
Get the
for
Giants
the
on Monday Night Football again.
Jiminy Christmas. This game, though, I like the Cowboys. I think Dak Prescott proved himself yet again.
Last I checked, Ezekiel Elliott's still playing. So
we'll see if that gets upheld or not. I just don't think Denver at the quarterback position just has enough to take down
Trevor
this Cowboys
Siemian looked
team.
okay for a while, and then they went to sleep, and the Chargers woke up, and they made it a game, almost went to overtime, if not for the blocked field goal after a timeout. So it turned into an interesting game, but I still don't see either of those teams being a factor for the Raiders or Chiefs.
I thought the Cowboys might be one of my teams to take a step back this year. I might have to revise that because after what I saw, especially defensively. Now, Dak Prescott, I don't think he'll see the numbers that he put up a year ago. It may not matter. This Cowboys defense is for real.
Jalen Smith, the linebacker from Notre Dame, is finally getting healthy, and he's back in the fold. That's really helping out their defense. Their corners, their defensive line was getting after it. So if they have an improved defense with that offense that can control the ball, control the clock with Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott making safe throws, I do like the Cowboys this season.
Hey, don't forget, we've got a replay. We got a remake, a reboot, if you will, of the NFC Championship game. Falcons and Packers coming at us. Man, the Packers have already played a very impressive defensive performance again here against the Seahawks in Week 1. Where'd that come from?
Talking about two defenses that were much maligned, and now they come out with impressive performances. The Falcons weren't impressive against the Bears, but that was grass. They're back home. They're on the turf. They're going to be faster. What can you expect? This is kind of a 50-50 game to me. Both teams now that the Falcons are at home, both teams didn't impress a lot last week. But I expect the Packers with Aaron Rodgers to find a way to get it done, to make a statement. Aaron Rodgers knows he needs another Super Bowl to surpass Brett Favre's legend and to become that great quarterback everyone says he's the most talented. I expect the Packers to come out with the win.
I like Matt Ryan in this game. I think that he has a lot to prove from that Super Bowl loss where the game was in the bag for the Falcons.
Well, then kill Mike Glennon and the Bears, why don't you?
I definitely understand that because maybe though what we have on our hands in Chicago is a little bit and more improved than what we thought. That situation looked completely dire.
Yeah.
The Falcons, though, to me, still the best team in the NFC, and they're going to prove it on Sunday.
All right, well, we will see. Now it's time for our biggest winners and losers of the week. I'm going to take the losers. I've got 3, so I'm going to
Bad
probably
news
talk a while.
first, I guess.
So, no, I'm going to let you go first. I'm going to let the winner go first. To the winner goes the spoils. What's your winner for this week?
There was a lot of winners in week 1.
Yeah.
We talked about the Chiefs. We talked about Alex Smith. We talked about what they did. But to me, a team that flew completely under the radar and that came out of nowhere was the LA Rams. What a performance by Jared Goff. 305 yards and a touchdown. He was one of the highest rated passers week 1. They looked like a balanced team, a team that actually was able to come out and perform for those home fans, even though not a lot of them showed up in LA. Maybe you'll see the Coliseum a little more full going forward. The LA Rams, they turned it up. They actually look like an NFL franchise.
They did.
And I'd forgotten all about them, but here they are back. Jared Goff, a guy I completely wrote off.
Happy
after
without
year
Jeff
1.
Fisher, so.
Looked like a team very happy without Jeff Fisher. There's my winners, LA Rams.
And I've got losers. I've got lots of losers from this week, and we've got 3 losers this time. We've got the Colts. You said your LA Rams.
Is that allowed? Are producers three losers?
Can I do 3? Yeah, okay. We can do 3. So I've got the Indianapolis Colts. They played your LA Rams. That's why the Rams look so good. Now, they are improved. They did put up a lot of points. 46-9, I believe, was the final score. But this is the worst roster I think I've ever seen in professional football. Yes, Cleveland Browns, start cheering, throw a party. This is the worst roster. Sans T.Y. Hilton, Adam Vinatieri, I'll give you a pass. Andrew Luck, you're injured. Those 3 players, other than that, this roster, who is out there? Frank Gore's 35 years old. They're trading off Philip Dorsett. I can't even name another receiver on their team. The offensive line's been atrocious since Andrew Luck's been there. Chuck Pagano, you might as well resign, go fly fishing in Montana, do whatever the hell it is you like to do, because it ain't coaching football. It's not making a football team. It's not finding the right 53. You found the absolute wrong 53. They are atrocious. Good night. That's a win for everybody on your schedule. Start throwing a party.
Are you telling me you can top this with 2 more losers? You're going to be able to top the intensity?
I should have saved that one for last.
I mean,
damn it.
What else you got here? Because that.
The second one, this one won't be as intense, but it's Adrian Peterson. You made the wrong decision. Maybe you just looked at the roster or looked at the NFL schedule and
call
said,
it a career.
Hey, the Saints are going against the Vikings week 1. I guess I'll just join the Saints. No, that's not working out. They rotate their backs in too much. You can't get a flow. You can't get the carries you want. You're scowling at Sean Payton on the sideline. It's just not going well. There's already talks about, hey, call up the Saints. They're probably going to trade Adrian Peterson. You can get him for a 6th, 7th round pick. Giants, you need to call him up. You don't have a run game. So that's my second loser, Adrian Peterson, choosing the wrong team. The Saints paying him. That was a big loss for everyone. My third one, I think we can all know who this is. We all know. If you watch Monday Night Football, it's atrocious. Beth Mowins, Rex Ryan, and the great Sergio Dip, who's made his rounds on Twitter.
Is he a winner or a loser? I don't really know at this point.
Yeah, he did. He's got a level of fame and notoriety. He was trending on Twitter. That can be considered a win, but not for the right reasons. He was just awful on that sideline call. He was only used once. Usually you see those guys 4 or 5 times.
I think they pulled the plug on that.
I will give him a little bit of a pass. English is his second language. He might have just been in the crowd. He might have just been there to take pictures of the game. And they put him in a nice suit and said, we forgot a sideline reporter. We need to get away from Mowins and Rex Ryan. They're awful. So we need someone to take some pressure off him. And he was out there just... you look at Vance Joseph out there. He's on the sideline, having the time of his life.
That was a good. We don't even need to play the. I was going to play the clip, but I guess we don't need to
all
now.
week. Plus, I have a little Sergio Dip inside me where I stumble bum. So I love it. Sergio Dip.
That's why this show's not live.
Yeah, definitely not. Cannot be live. No live in my future. But Sergio Dip, he played along with it. He had a little wink emoji. He was kind of playing along with it. He was a good sport about it.
Well, we want to thank everyone for joining us. We hope everyone enjoys week 2 of the NFL. I tell you what, this is all thanks to the Great American Sports Network, GASNsports.com. That's our website. That's where everything's archived.
At GASN Sports on Twitter. Definitely hit us up. If you want a guest, you want us to talk about a certain team, you want us to go somewhere different, you want a skit, let us know.